6 months from now, you'll arrive. But the question is where? Will you be earning the same income? Will you be living the same life? Will you be making the same excuses?
And most people massively overestimate what can be done in a day, but massively underestimate what they can do in the next 6 months.
And guys, the scary thing is this. 2027 is coming whether you're ready or not. Will you be ready?
So the real question is, 6 months from now, would you be happy with how your life looked if it stayed exactly the same?
And today, we're asking one question. Can you genuinely transform your life within the next 180 days? This is the Unplugged Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people who do not like to introduce themselves, we are the Unplugged Podcast, the best flipping show in the ether of the universe, of the Galactica.
Let's go.
So if you're joining us for the first time, shame on you. And if you're loyal Unpluggers, we welcome you. And this is the podcast for you if you hate your life, you hate your wife, and you hate your kids. Time to unplug.
Time to unplug. Guys, so I'm going to kick right off. So I'm going to ask you a question. Obviously, this episode is about transforming your life. It is June 2026, and there are 6 months left of the year to hit those goals that you put on your list on the 1st of January. But my question to you, my friend, is do you genuinely believe that somebody can completely transform their life in 6 months?
110%. 110% I think it can be done. But how willing and how committed is one, I suppose, is a follow-up question.
So before you follow me up with my question, why do you think someone can change their life in 6 months?
I feel like 6 months is enough for something to become a habit, right? And I feel like really in the 90-day kind of realm, you start getting into your rhythm. I feel like the first week, 2 weeks is just all motivation. It's gas. Like you're excited. Yeah, I'm going to go 75-day hard. Yeah, I'm going to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. And you're just excited for like 1 or 2 weeks. And then by week 3, week 4, like reality starts to sink. It's like, oh, this is a bit tough. It's a bit harder than I imagined. And maybe like you might miss week 5 and you might miss week 6 and then you kind of like fall back into the rut. But I feel like once you sort of pass the 90-day, 4 months, 5 months, then like you're in the clear. Like 6 months from now, you're literally in the clear. And so you're literally in the clear and this now becomes a habit, personally.
No, I like that. I think for me, what I like about 6 months, I feel like you said, it's long enough to kind of keep you excited and allow you to realistically achieve goals, but then it's not too long for you to kind of fade off.
Yes.
So I feel like a 6 month period is a good enough time to see some drastic change because a lot can happen in 6 months.
Yeah, definitely.
But they're not too overwhelming where you kind of lose focus, which is what a year can do. So I even like setting 6 month quarterly goals, 1 month goals, even weekly goals, because they kind of keep you laser focused.
Definitely.
And the funny thing is I find that, people spend a lot of time planning like luxurious stuff, like holidays, and they're going here and they're going here, watching this series, committed to a YouTube series for 6 months.
Yeah.
But then they won't spend 30 minutes a day designing their life and creating a life that they want so they can become the highest version of themselves. Why do you think that is?
I feel because it's a lot easier to invest in other things than yourself. I think it's a lot easier to get distracted and to focus on other things than what really matters. It's a lot easier to lose yourself in booze, girls, gambling, drinking, whatever your vices are, than actually trying to invest in your health, invest in your knowledge, invest in your skill and allowing you to become a better version of yourself, because it's a harder dance, it's a harder conversation, it's a lot more difficult. So I feel like people, and we spoke about in the last episode, people find the comfort of escapism in doing things that don't necessarily need to be addressed or done. So that's why I think it's generally harder, generally speaking. I feel like it's not an easy feel. Like if you can make any form of like completion or change about yourself, whether like you're a smoker, you're not smoking, or whether you used to always go out on a Saturday, you're not doing that. I think that's a lot harder than doing like anything else for someone else. If that makes sense.
No, totally. I think I'm going to give a controversial opinion. and my controversial opinion is I don't generally think that people need more information. I feel like they need to be distracted less. Like the world is not short of information. You can go online, Google, AI, social media and see everybody giving information. But I just feel like us as a generation, because there's so much information and information is easily accessible, we're now getting distracted by things that can't change our life or don't help us get to kind of our goal. Like people know they need to exercise, but they don't. People know they need to read, but they don't. People know they need to save money and they don't. People know they need to create another income stream because their job doesn't pay them enough and they're in the rat race. So in my opinion, I don't think we have a sort of lack of knowledge problem. I feel like we have an execution problem. Why do people suffer so much with executing? Like knowing what they need to do and just not doing it.
I think kind of goes back to what you said in the form of overwhelm. It's like, where do I start? Do you get what I mean? Like, okay, cool, I want to lose, 20 pounds, right? Is it a cardio thing? Is it a food diet thing? Maybe I should get a PT because he will know what to do. Or is it a weight? Should I get strong? Or should I bulk up first? Or should I cut, then try to go lean? Or maybe I should go on one of those 90-day YouTube. Or maybe I should do a Peloton. Or maybe I should do the Stairmasters. Or maybe I should but people say that cardio doesn't really do anything. Or maybe I can just eat whatever I want, but so long as I go to the gym 5 times. Do you get what I mean? Like there's so much.
So much information.
There's so much information.
Yes.
And I feel like going back to what you said, because there's so much information, you get so overwhelmed with not doing the thing. I know I want to give a shout out, to the next. Can I talk about it?
Go for
Okay,
it.
cool. I want to give a shout out, amazing networking event that was hosted by John and Jess, right? I think we're calling it the Honest Founders.
I think we are.
I think we are.
Right? I think we like that.
There's a lot more. I'm not going to talk too much about what it is because, that's going to be another thing. But at the start of the networking event, they kind of played like a little montage kind of video. And I think it was Chris Williamson. And he said something, and I can't lie, since that day, I've been quoting it. I've been quoting it. And in summary, it says, thinking about doing the thing is not doing the thing. Researching about doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hearing about other people doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Watching and trying to learn and finding the best time about doing the thing isn't doing the thing. The best way to do the thing is by simply doing the thing. And that just stuck with me. And I feel like that naturally sort of lies into what we're saying here in the sense of there's so much information. I feel like people are so overwhelmed. And also the information and the research and the information feels like execution.
Yes.
As well.
Consuming, the consumption of it.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you're not actually doing. I think a quote that I heard, I think within the last 6 months is, what you don't change, you choose. And essentially, if we're now not changing our lives, we're choosing to accept our lives for what they are.
Yes.
And I know it's quite uncomfortable. And, on this podcast, we talk about so many uncomfortable truths, but we are here to unplug you from what you feel is the right way, to condition you to indoctrinating you to understand that if you don't want to get trapped in modern day society, we need to change the way we think, we need to change the way we talk, we need to change who maybe we're associating ourselves with and start to think differently. And guys, all I want to basically say is that it's not about kind of blaming yourself about your situation or other people or, I'm in this situation and there's nothing I can do about it. The reality is your responsibility as a human being to change your situation, saying it's not my fault, I can't do this because my partner or this or my family. Like it's your responsibility to change your situation. No one else can change your situation but you, and understanding those are two different things. One is, taking responsibility. The other one is giving out blame and fault to others. And that's kind of where we need to move away from.
Controversial take.
Yes.
Is there ever really an excuse? Because some people are going through stuff.
Yes.
Going through it. Single parents, war-ridden country, don't speak English, poorly educated, toxic family. Surely there's an excuse that warrants someone not doing or having more difficult circumstances.
Honestly, I feel like there's only an excuse if you make there be an excuse.
Explain.
There will always be a reason not to do something. And if you always allow that reason to stop you from doing what you want to do, you'll forever stay stuck. So you're always going to come across a challenge or obstacle, right? And that is, you can either look at it as that's the reason why I'm not doing it, or look at that as a thing to overcome. Because no matter what you do in life, like I said, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be challenges. Your mom, your dad's going to get sick, that person's going to die. You don't feel great that day. And we can either use that as an excuse or we can push past our excuses to go to the next level.
But bro, that's better said than done. You know, bro, you didn't come from a broken home like I did, or you didn't have a struggle from me. Like, you're coming from money, like you've made your money. Like, you know, all those rich people that they say, you know, the secret to life, don't follow money, but you've made your money.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Easier
yeah,
said
but I'm just talking about, like, I always boil it down to one thing, and I talk about some of my friends who I'm always trying to push or motivate. Like, how badly do you want this, bro? Like, how badly do you want this? And shout out to Eric Thomas, a video I watched maybe about 15 years ago. And he was like, you have to want this as much as you want to breathe. So if you think about someone's trying to suffocate you, strangle you, and you can't breathe, that's how much you got to want this thing. And I know it sounds very like melodramatic, but it's a case of, if you want it that bad, nothing can stop you, bro. Nothing is going to stop me from achieving what I set out to achieve. So my thing is this: if you are not pursuing and like, or you're constantly making excuses, you don't want it enough. And if that's the case, that's fine. Be honest with yourself, but don't then complain that your life is not changing if you're not prepared to do the things that you need to do to change your life.
100%. Yo peeps, it's Freeman here. Quick announcement, over 90% of you guys are not subscribed, but you're watching and taking in all these gems. So please press that big fat red button, hit the bell notification, like, and tell a friend. Enjoy the episode.
Cool. So guys, I now want to talk about, myself and Freeman, I've come up with what we're going to call 5 discoveries. So 5 things that we feel that you can do over the next 6 months to dramatically change your life. And we're going to get straight into it. So the first one for me is what I call clarity. Like, I truly believe, and I talk about this all the time, in order for you to achieve a level of success, you have to have a level of clarity about what it is that you want. And I think the biggest problem that most people have in their life is they can tell you what they don't want. I don't want this, I don't want a rubbish job, I don't want a crap partner, but they can't concisely tell you what they do want. And I think that's a big problem.
So then what exactly does clarity mean for one then? Like,
yeah, I think for clarity, clarity is you have a clear idea of vision of what you want in your mind. So you set out, you know what, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, this is what I'm trying to achieve. For example, obviously we're entrepreneurs, so I'm going to give an example in the business sense. You might set the goal of, within the next 12 months, I want to turn my consultancy business into 7 figures. So now you have clarity about what you want. Now it's all about, can you break down that big goal? You've got the clarity, you've got the vision. Now can I break down that big goal into smaller goals that I can achieve over the quarter, over the month, over the weeks, over the days?
Talk to me about what a fuzzy goal looks like, because a lot of people, I can imagine, well, most people probably say, yeah, I do have a goal. But then when you kind of get into the nitty gritty, it looks like a bunch of mixed up things. And, you know, I want to be a hairdresser, but also a car mechanic at the same time. Do you get what I mean? So like, what is a fuzzy goal? So we've explained like what a clear goal looks like, but what does a fuzzy goal kind of look like?
I want to be happy.
What's wrong with that?
Like, but how do you judge whether you've achieved that over a period of time? So say, for example, you know, we're talking about how to transform your life in the next 180 days. I say, you know what, in the next 180 days, I want to be happy. At the end of the 6 months, how am I going to know whether I'm happy or not? It's very it's not clear. And I feel like fuzzy goals creates fuzzy results. Whereas if you said, I don't know, in the next 6 months, I'm going to jump on a course that's going to help me learn a new skill. I'm going to read 2 books. Now the clarity is clear. The vision of what you're trying to achieve is very clear. And I just feel, you have to be specific about what you want in order to what you want to achieve, achieve what you want, rather. 100%.
And like, serious question for you guys just watching right now. Generally, what do you want your life to look like in the next 6 months, right? You know, do you want it to be a lot more fruitful? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to leave your relationship? Do you want to elevate in your job, in your work? Do you want to spend more time with your kids? Like, genuine question, like, pause this video and write down some things that you want to do. And I feel like naturally the next form of discovery is association. I've always said this, and I feel like this has been so influential for me, is your environment is a big factor.
100%.
of what your life can look like in the next 180 days.
So for our listeners and our viewers watching, what does that look like? What does that mean?
I feel there's a couple concepts, but like one simple one I feel like a lot of people understand is it takes one bad apple to ruin the bunch.
Yeah.
But it's also reverse. Like, I'll give you an example. If you're currently in a circle of people who complain about their jobs, complain about their family, complain that they're massively overworked, they're not being paid, etc., etc. And there's 4 members in that group, and you now join that group, you'll be the 5th complaining member, factually. But if you now join another group of 4 people who are talking about elevating themselves, going to the gym, being the best version of themselves, investing in themselves, spending more time with their family and their loved ones, you're going to be the most 5th fruitful person in that group. 100%. So there's both sides. So it very much depends. What group do you want to be a part of?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I think one of the biggest challenges that people have become so like normalized to their existing group, and the existing group is holding them back. You might have people listening, all right, cool, that sounds great. How do I now get around those type of people who are making moves, who are positive, who are driven, who are ambitious, who are going to help inspire me, motivate me, and help me go to the next level? How do I get around people like that? Honest Founder.
But another thing as well, I feel like people don't even know or think that they can get out of their existing circle of networks.
I agree.
Do you get what I mean? People are like, yeah, these are my friends for life, or these are the people I found, or these are the people I've come across with and connected with, and this is just me. They're not your family, right? You can change your circle.
And even if they were your family,
you know what I mean?
If they drop out certain
do you get what
members,
I mean, bro? Like, and it sounds like brutal, but it's true. If there are people that are genuinely holding you back from being the highest version of yourself, it's your decision ultimately to let them go. You know what I mean? And I always say it takes 2 people to make a circle. Do you get what I mean? So you don't need to think you need a massive group and some massive entourage of this and that. Like, it can literally just start with 2 people.
Yes.
And before you know it, you start something great and beautiful. 100%. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like that's a big thing. I think like not a lot of people think they can change their circles. And I feel like they're just loyal to the sake of time and just like, oh, well, you know what I mean? He's been around. I've known him since we were knee high. I feel bad.
Yeah, you feel bad. And you don't want people to feel a certain type of way towards you because now you've decided to better your life. But ultimately, the only person who can better your life is you. And if that means you having to leave certain people behind to move into environments and circles where you're going to be uplifted and be inspired and motivated, then
that's what you got to do.
It's what you got to do, man. And a big quote that I stand by and I live by is by obviously my number one mentor, and he's Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn basically says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And that's something I've had to learn the hard way, and I'm sure yourself as well.
100%.
But I've also learned that, you can love people, but sometimes you have to love people at a distance. So the next one, the third discovery, is the philosophy discovery. So people might hear that and think, oh, what do you mean by philosophy? And philosophy for me is how you interpretate life. So we're all humans. We've all got 24 hours in a day. Things are going to happen to you, things are going to happen to me. But my thing is your philosophy determines how you react to the things in your life. So me and you might face the same scenario, but you react in a positive way and I react in a negative way.
Yeah.
And that change there is the difference between maybe you going on and being successful and, me essentially being a failure. Because I've also learned it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens to you. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that's a big thing. I've always said now recently, but I didn't know at the time, the biggest difference between you, your next best, and your competition is mindset and your approach to things, ultimately your philosophy. Because I used to think, bro, I'm better than this guy, man. He's dumb. I'm so I'm so much smarter. I provide so much value. I do more. But why does it always just feel like everything kind of like just falls to him? But I think it was very much like your philosophy and like, not to kind of get woo-woo energy, but like, it's very much what you put out is what you get back. If you feel like, oh, woe me, no one wants to work with me because I'm a woman, or no one wants to work with me because I'm black, or no one wants to work with me because I'm young or because I'm old, then that's exactly what you're going to get back. But if you have the philosophy and the mindset is that I have an amazing service or value that I can provide to the world, and irrespective of what I look like and who I am, I will get handsomely remunerated, right? And maybe there's a setback that happens, or you think that you're going to get this amazing bit of business deal and it falls through. Maybe it wasn't meant for you, right? And I feel like, again, going back to what John said, is like your approach to things, and I feel like people's approach to things are very much like, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? So I feel like kind of like balancing it out. And I think we were speaking about it earlier. Is like, I think something happened. I think you must have got like a mad like five-figure booking. And then you was like, well, something good has happened, something bad is it's due to follow suit.
100.
Do you get what I mean?
100. It's almost like when something good happens, expect something not so good to happen. And that's why we laugh. We was talking about, there's a word that me and Freeman used to use. We need to bring that word back, and it's called imperturbable.
Yeah.
I'm sure our editor will bring it up on the screen. And essentially what imperturbable means is that no matter what happens, good or bad, it's almost like you remain the same. And I know that's easier said than done, but if you can train yourself, obviously you want to show joy and reward yourself.
Yeah. You want to have some emotions, yeah.
But understand that if something good happens, something not so good is waiting around the corner for you. It's almost like preparing yourself mentally that your emotions or feelings are not swayed from left to right. Otherwise you'll be an emotional wreck.
100%. I feel like naturally the next discovery to talk about, and this was like a big thing for me, and I'm kind of like, I was on the other side of this boat for a long time, personal development.
Yes.
Personal development and investment in yourself. I'm not going to lie, I was one of those guys that thought I could do it myself. I'm not going to pay this guy £5,000 to teach me something I can learn on YouTube. But once you realize that the cost of time and how much you're willing to sacrifice to be able to achieve your goals, you'll massively be able to understand that. And even now, it struggles. I really struggle to understand how people can spend £150 on a night out.
Yes.
But when we spend £9.99 on an Audible.
On a book that can change your life, literally can take you from where you are to where you want to be in 6 months.
Literally.
It's crazy. And I think there's a certain stigma around investing in your knowledge and investing in your education. And it's really weird that we spend a lot of our life going to school, going to college, going to uni. We get a job and all of a sudden we feel like we don't need to learn anymore. It's almost like our learning stops, our development stops, which is crazy because the reality is your learning and development has got you to where you are. So if you don't keep learning and developing, you stay where you are.
Literally.
So if you want to go to next level, you have to keep educating yourself. Jim Rohn famously said that you stand on the books you read to achieve the things that you want. And it's that knowledge and experience you gain from obviously reading and implementing, that knowledge that helps you get to the next level. But similar to you, I've always been a bit wary of, buying courses and hiring mentors. And don't get me wrong, there are some like shady, like snatch and grab type of people out there. But on the flip side, there are some genuine people out there who can fast track your progress and help you go to where you want to get to. And funny enough, we had a conversation at the Honest Founder event and we was talking about, someone said they believe that you should work on your weaknesses, which I came out and I totally disagree. Because I feel like in my personal experience, rather than spend time or waste time trying to improve my weaknesses, I can hire someone who is strong where I'm weak, which allows me to focus on my strengths. And I don't think you should focus on your weaknesses. You should focus on, your strengths. So that kind of personal development helps someone come in and kind of just fast track you. And if you are someone right now who is maybe in a job and you've got a side hustle that you're building, again, something that found that kind of stuck with me is, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. So maybe take your foot off the gas a little bit at work. You're not working so hard. Yeah. And using that spare time to now invest in your personal development, invest in your side hustle, invest in taking your knowledge to the next level.
100%. So kind of like hitting this home now.
Yes.
What's our final discovery?
So the final discovery is execution and goals. So I'm going to quickly throw out a question to you. Do you think people set goals too small? And if so, why?
That's a really good question. I think typically people in the grand scheme of things have big goals, but to define that, I think they have vague goals, which is what we spoke about earlier. You know what I mean? Like a vague goal for a lot of people is like, I want to become rich. But financially free to you and financially free to me are two different definitions.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? So I think in summary, because of that, people's goals are ultimately quite small. And there's a guy called Samuel Newell, like some big e-com space guy. And he says, set your goals or set set your goals so high that when you dream of them, they scare you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? Like, your goals and your dreams, your aspirations need to be so big that you need to think, I feel like a bit like an idiot saying this out loud.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And if it doesn't give you that kind of like butterfly feeling of like, bro, I don't even feel like I should be saying this. Like, it's equivalent of you saying, I want to be the president of the United States in England. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
If it doesn't make you feel a bit silly, then I don't think you're dreaming or you're aspiring hard or big enough.
Yes.
But I do feel like at the same time, and obviously, you know, going back to like, people do dream quite vaguely.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's some of that I agree with. That you said there's some of it that I disagree with. And the part that I disagree with is I don't think people set big goals. I think people set goals that are small, that they know they can achieve. They set goals that they feel are realistic because it feels comfortable to set a goal knowing that you're going to achieve it. Anyone can do that. And I feel like they don't set big goals because if they set big goals, it forces them to stretch. It forces them to learn more. It forces them to grow. And I feel like that's the part, in my opinion, why people don't grow, because the goals that they set are very small. They're too realistic. They're too achievable. But setting those goals will never grow you, bro. It will never take you to the next level.
I don't know. I kind of like disagree because in the same breath, because you could also think as well that setting, you know, smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, right, will help you now achieve that milestone to now go on to the next. Some may think. Because if you set big goals, can you not think, oh, with all this information, it's so overwhelming now? Yeah,
but you can always break that big goal into small goals. But essentially, that big goal is a goal that's going to transform your life. So if you set the goal now of, I don't know, your consultancy business, when you first started up, I'm setting the goal of making £2,000. Like, you know you're going to make that. That's not going to force you to stretch. Whereas if you set the goal, I'm going to turn this into a 7-figure operation. Now that's scary. But not only is it scary, it's now going to force you to learn stuff you don't know. It's going to push you. It's going to force you to level up. And I think, and going back to what I said, I just feel like the goals that people generally set themselves, in my opinion, I feel like they're small because they're realistic and it doesn't force them to get uncomfortable.
But do you not think there's like a fine, surely there has to be a fine line now though? Because like...
No, there doesn't.
But like, you know what I mean? Like saying, oh, why can I not say I want to grow this consultancy business to $1 billion? Like, what stops you from saying that?
Nothing.
Right? But then isn't that not crazy at the same time? Or am I like doing limiting belief right now?
Well, possibly. Imposter syndrome, bro. Like, at the end of the day, like, you are what you think about. And if that's something that you want to work towards, you might not get to that billion. You might get to that million. And when you get to that million, you might realize, actually, I didn't really need to get to that billion. So, yeah, obviously, we are the only people that can set limiting beliefs. What's that saying? Who was it that said, whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve? I can't remember who said that. But yeah, I feel like don't place limitations on what you can achieve because then you'll stay small.
Yeah, fair enough.
So guys, this is now where we want to speak directly to the listener, to the person who's watching this. And we want to ask you one serious question. And the question is, if nothing changes between now, this is June 2026, and the 1st of January, what does your life look like? Will you be in the same job? Will you be earning the same income? Will you be coming up with the same excuses that you're coming up with today? Will you have the same frustrations? Or will your life look completely different?
Cool. So now the challenge is for the next 180 days, before you leave this episode, I want you, 1, to write down exactly what you want. 2, I want you to identify and commit to at least one daily habit. And 3, or 3A and 3B, I want you to find one person that you will commit more to, and part B, one person that you need less of.
I like that one.
Now, I want you to do that today, not tomorrow, not next week, or the week after. I want you to be committed to this and share this with other people so you can be held accountable.
So, in closing, what do you want people to kind of take from today's episode? What's the biggest reflection piece?
In one word, action. I feel, and kind of going back to sort of Chris Williamson quote thingy, I feel like you will learn more by doing the thing than trying to think about doing the thing. Genuinely. Right? And one thing that John said to me, funny enough, adding a little part B, or he says quite a bit, you get clarity with movement. I say that to loads of people now, can't lie. You get clarity with movement. And I always sort of, you know what I mean? And I add a little twang on it, right? I always sort of give the illustration, like imagine if like you're in a fog, right? and you're on the other side of the road. The only way you can see past the fog, is to actually move forward. You can't see the other side if you're standing still, or if you're thinking about the best way or the right time or, what's happening. Slowly creep forward. And I think that's it. So action, ultimately.
No, I love
What about
that.
you?
I think for me, I just want to say that change is inevitable. So what does that mean? July is going to come, August is going to come, September. Change is going to happen, but growth is optional. And I just feel like the 6 months will come regardless of whether you decide to make those changes or not. But like I said at the beginning of the episode, the question is, where will you arrive? When the 6 months are here, where will you be? Will you be singing the same broken song or playing the same broken record? Because the next 6 months of your life can be better, but you have to commit to making it better, because it won't happen by accident. The next 6 months, if you want to improve your life, will happen by you designing a better life, putting a better plan in place, because life doesn't get better by change. It gets better. Sorry, life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. So we have to make the changes that we want to see, to remember or to move where we want. Because the reality is this, guys, in the next 6 months, you're going to be telling yourself, or people are going to be telling themselves either one or two stories. Yeah. They're either going to be talking about they made action and they made progress and they've moved forward, or they're going to have a story of procrastination, that they are in the same place that they was 6 months ago. And guys, the big thing is this: the choice is yours. Take action.
Let's go. But guys, I really hope you appreciate today's app. I feel like this is a big one. I feel like this is a very impactful one. If you're looking for that change, it's a perfect time to make it. We're halfway through the year. So by the time you're seeing 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1, you'll be a different person by 2027.
Yes.
But boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, and people that of course don't like to introduce themselves, we're on a bit of a mission.
We are indeed. We are still on the road to 1,000 subs. Guys, please, if you're enjoying this and you're liking it, please share it with someone who you feel needs to hear it. We do this for you. We don't get paid. We are just out here. This is something that we're passionate about, growing and developing and inspiring others and sharing our journey and our stories that can hopefully, help you go to the next level. So if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribed on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple, make sure you follow us as well. Leave a comment. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you like. Let us know what you maybe don't like. We'd like to see.
Cool. And always, guys, make sure you're liking, you're sharing, subscribing. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mum, tell your dad, tell his mistress. And as always, guys, love, love, love.
Elevate.